Good morning. It's my last morning in Vietnam and my last morning in Southeast Asia. This morning I want to talk about what happened last night, a story from auditioning for Drum Corps, and the 5 power laws of health and longevity. So every so often this happens. I don't really want to make this video about complaining about other people, but to an extent, that is what I'm doing. Every so often, I get a handful of people staying in the same dorm as me that I can't quite come up with the right word or phrase, but the only thing that comes to mind is no social awareness. So I'm staying in this, there's 6 beds in the room. It's like 2, 2, and then 2 bunk beds. And there are these 4 guys that appeared to be probably part of the same like friend group or something. And last night they came back at like, I don't know, 11. Well, actually I do know. It was like 11:30 p.m. And I think they were speaking, it was another language. It might have been Hindu or something. Isn't Hindu a language? Isn't that a religion? Wow, I just butchered that. I don't know. It was a different language. I don't know what. But anyway, they're like speaking normal volume in the dorm room. And I wake up and I keep wavering, between just like try to go back to bed. Don't make a big deal of it with the other side of me, which is like, just say something like it's on the tip of my tongue to be like, hey, can you stop talking, or can you go outside, or something like that. Like, people are trying to sleep here, and the same thing happened this morning. They all left this morning, and I do know when, because I checked the time, because I woke up. Somebody's alarm went off at 5:25, and then someone else's alarm went off at 6 something. And they all got up, and they were talking. Like, again, like, what? Do you not understand that other people are sleeping in this, like, in the same room? I literally don't understand. or like, what is going on in your brain? So anyway, frustrating, but I did not get good sleep last night. I mean, I say that, not good sleep for me, for my standards. My score, I'll share. I got a 92%. I should have, by time-wise, should have gotten 100%. I had an extra buffer of 20 minutes to get my 100%, but something about I was in like the corner bed, top one. I think that the cold air wasn't getting to me or something. It was just, I was sweating so much. It was so hot, and these people are talking, and like, but that's okay. It happens. So, before I get into this story that I want to share, the one thing the other thing that I want to say is, like, I understand when people I understand that it's a shared environment, that we are sharing the same room, and nobody's going to be perfectly silent. And I understand that accidents happen. Like if somebody accidentally drops their water bottle or whatever, and it makes a big noise, or like you're packing up your stuff. That was the other thing. Is like they packed up all of their stuff in the room. And I don't know, like one of the first things that I think about is like, okay, well I have all these like zippers and it's gonna make a whole bunch of noise. Like I usually like pack up a good bit of my stuff and then I move all my stuff outside of the room and then like finish up packing. Anyway, they did not do that. So, but point being, like, I understand that it's not gonna be perfect. Not everyone has a like vibrating alarm. Oh, speaking of alarm. And so like people's alarms are gonna go off. Like I understand. I'm talking about the things that you can control. Not you, but like that people can control. You can control not talking in the doorman. You can control not packing up in the doorman. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, but it was this moment. And it was literally this. I was going to talk about a completely different video last night, but I was literally awake because I woke up from these people at 6 a.m. And it made me think, back in 2016, I auditioned for the Bluecoats Drum Corps. If you don't know what a drum corps is, it's basically a marching band, but like the sports performance version of a marching band. So like you compete with other drum corps and put on your like show. And Bluecoats are like, well, I think they won like first place in 2016. So like in the nation or world. I think is it national? I don't know if it's international, but anyway, they're like top 5 in the nation at least. And basically how their audition works is you do a music, you play a music song basically, like one-on-one, just standing with a person who does the scores, and then there's a musical component and then there's a marching component. And so the music component is just like one-on-one with the, I don't know, I'm blanking on words, but you know what I mean, with the person doing the scores. And then the marching component, they do it in this big block of people. And I don't remember who told me this, but one of the things that I remember hearing as a piece of advice when I was going into this audition was, don't look at anybody else. Like, don't compare yourself or even look at anybody else. And I specifically remember this as part of the marching component, because basically, I don't remember the numbers, but let's say there were like 4 audition weekends, and I went one of the weekends, and during that weekend they have maybe, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but like during that weekend there are 3 different marching blocks. They split up the whatever 500 people or 200 people into 3 different times, and those like whatever 75 people are in the block at the same time, if that makes sense. So it's like you are auditioning with a very small subset of like all of the people. And this advice stuck with me because, you know, it's very easy to be there like marching and like to see in your peripherals all the people around you. But if you think about it mathematically, it's like you can be there doing your best, and you can like look over to your left and see, oh, like I think my legs are, or you know, my posture is better than this guy over here to my left, and then like you see over to your right, like, oh, this guy looks really good, like he's really confident, like his marching style is really good. But at the end of the day, the three of you, none of you will make it. Just mathematically, the odds are like, it's like there are 4 different weekends, and in each weekend there are 3 different marching blocks, and you are in one of them. There's a good chance that none of, like, the entire block, none of you are going to make it. And so if you start to look at other people and start to compare yourself, oh, like I'm better than this guy, I'm like, oh, that guy's pretty good, oh, I think I'm better than him, like you're just shooting yourself in the foot, because the odds are none of you are going to make it. And so you have to just, like, if nobody around you is going to make it, like, you have to be operating at a completely different level, you know? I hope this is making sense. How I want to relate it to this first story is, I felt the same sense here, because it's like I'm trying to operate my life on another level. Like I'm trying to improve, you know, live a good life, build a meaningful life, but like everyone around me is not. And I'm listening to this podcast between Dr. Mike and Bryan Johnson yesterday. Really good podcast. And he was talking about Bryan Johnson was talking about basically they read through all of the scientific literature, and they came back to 5 power laws, which are like, you know, you could do all of these like micro optimizations, but at the end of the day, it's going to be these 5 things that are going to be the biggest like changes, or the heaviest hitters basically for your health and longevity. And the 5 were: don't smoke, 6 hours a week of exercise, a BMI between, it was something like 18 and 22.5 or something like that, a blueprint-like or Mediterranean-like diet, and little or no alcohol. And it's like, and sleep is in there as well. It's like, out of all of the things, like, those are the heaviest hitters. And I'm just looking at the people around me, like, physically, and it's like, all the people are smoking, they're all drinking until 11:30 at night, nobody's getting enough sleep here, and so it just reminded me of this advice that I got at the audition. Just like, you can't even look at other people. You can't compare yourself to other people, because as soon as you start comparing to them, it's like all of the people that are also optimizing their sleep and their health is like, they're light years ahead, you know? So, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about this morning. And when I said this morning, I meant literally, like, when I woke up at 6 a.m., I was like, I think I'm going to talk about this. So, anyway. I have nothing else to say. See you tomorrow. Bye.